All right, marketing budget. This is one when I was putting together the topics for this seminar, this was one of the ones that the people I talked to said they really wanted to get an idea about. And I'm going to put some numbers up here, but they are sample numbers, and I put them together really as an illustrative purpose for how you might consider sizing up a budget for marketing expenses. There's a lot of different ways you can put this together. I said the components of your marketing budget, I think, come into four main buckets. The first one, your empowering concept. And that, your empowering concept is your overall thrust of your marketing activities, how you're going to advance your value proposition to the customer. And how are they going to become aware of your value proposition? How are they, this is the kind of the focal point of your marketing activities, okay? So then you've got other ancillary, what I call marketing programs that you're going to be doing that are going to help things. And I'll get into some examples here in just a minute that flesh this out just a little bit. Then you're going to have to invest in some technology. We are living in a digital age, and the digital medium needs to absolutely, I can't think of any vertical where the digital medium should not be leveraged. It needs to be as much as possible. So you'll have to invest in some technology to help with your marketing initiatives, and then people. So if there's work that needs to be done, either you're doing it or you're having somebody else do it. So it's time versus money, okay? So the components of the budget, we talk about the empowering concept. It's helping your target audience achieve their mission. That's what I said. It's kind of the focal point of all the marketing activities. And again, we talk about we're going to address and communicate how we can address the challenges that they're facing. All right, that's the focal point of the message. Here's some examples. Now I'm going back to my example of providing marketing strategy services to energy efficiency companies. One of the things that I would do is one of my empowering concepts is to provide webinars and in-person workshops to share essentials, what I'm doing today in the renewable energy space. A way to kind of communicate my value to people so they can see, oh, I see what he knows some marketing strategy, I might be able to use that for my business. In the renewable energy space, and I said in North Carolina, create awareness with my high value target market for complementary businesses in North Carolina that are North Carolina based. So possibly provide a online or offline forum where you can find, if you're someone who says, I really want to buy local and I want to be part of the North Carolina economy, providing the information that can do that and communicating that information. That's helping my customers who want to stay with the local business. So you get the general idea. These are kind of lofty goals, but this is something that you do to help advance your value proposition. Okay. Marketing programs. All right. I just showed you, say you have a launch event. And your launch event could be maybe it's introduction of a new product, or maybe you're having a new website that's going to go live, or you're going to have be at an industry trade show, and you are interested in making sure you get the maximum traction of potential clients at the industry trade show. Anyway, whatever it is, it's just you've got a launch event that's out here, okay? And you want to initiate programs that are going to help you have the maximum return on investment at this launch event. So what we do is we establish a set of marketing programs. First, we have the long tail ones. These are ones that are way out. And I'll get an example in just a moment. Way out that their duration is long in nature. Then we have our medium tail events, programs. And then we have our short tail events and programs. And all of these work in conjunction to lead up to the launch event. Everybody with me on that? Okay. Okay, showing this is the long-term events here, medium-term and short-term events. The whole idea here, I'll just say some examples of some of the short-term events, and I'll go through some others. Short-term events are like social media. You're going to tweet. You're going to do a LinkedIn article saying, hey, we've got a seminar coming up next week. Hope you can make it, or sign up is here. Tweet about it. You provide it in online forums, or you send emails, okay, about that. In the medium place, as an example, it would be like email marketing. Maybe in advance of a particular event, you're going to send out emails to a targeted distribution list, telling them about the event, telling them how they can sign up about it. Maybe it's a few weeks out, maybe it's a month out. Certainly, if you were going to a trade show and there were certain people that you know were going to be at this trade show and you wanted to have a meeting with them at the show, you would probably, in this timeline, even in going a long time, you would be initiating conversations to make sure that you could get some time with them at the show. Usually, is what I've seen, how many industry trade shows you've been to, people say, oh yeah, I'll just see you at the trade show. And usually you never see them. I think it's important to do upfront, make sure you get on somebody's schedule that we're going to meet at a certain place at a certain time and spend 15, 20 minutes or a half hour together so that we can talk. And that would be a medium range activity. Long range activities are those types of things where we are going to be talking about a product. I mean, Apple does a great job of this when they're going to launch a new iPhone. I mean, they build up the anticipation long in advance of the iPhone being available. And they do it through a variety of different outlets so that they can create really pent-up demand for the product. It's really you just think long-term, medium-term, short-term. And the goal is, and the trick is, to be able to manage those and have a system in place to manage those and to ensure that they're happening on time. And then you've got measurement systems in place, which we're going to talk about very soon, to ensure that what you're doing is having the impact that you want. Okay, components of the budget. Okay, we talk about personnel. We need people. This, I will tell you, is probably the biggest part of your budget. It's going to be people. I got an example of some people that we might need is a content management associate, tech management associate to help, maybe that, I'm not sure about that, a marketing assistant, and then travel budget for events. Just some things to think about. These are, have to account for it, and you will see this is probably the largest part of the budget. And then technology and tools, your website, a CRM tool, customer relationship management tool, and maybe a database of some sort. Depends on how large you are. I mean, I'm talking about a relatively small organization here. So it's just going to depend on the size. But these might be some things that you're going to have to invest in as part of your marketing initiatives. I'd like to talk a couple of pointers about website before we move on. I believe, and you'll hear different theories about what's the purpose of a website. I believe it has to answer three fundamental questions. And the first one is, what is your company known for? Okay? And these are not necessarily in this order, but it's really, what are you known for in the marketplace? What do you do well? What differentiates you? Okay? That needs to be, that question, when someone comes to your website, they need to be able to get an answer to that question. The second question that they need to get an answer to is, who does your company serve? Okay? You'd be surprised how many websites I go to, and I have no idea who they serve, who their target audience, who their target market is. And then finally, and thirdly, Why should prospective customers choose your company, your product over the competition? Again, that's that competitive advantage and that differentiator. And it's important that in your website, they have to answer these 3 questions. And I would say that it needs to be on your landing page. It needs to be, as we talk about, yeah, as I said, it's going to be on the landing page, and a crisp value proposition statement in the top fold, so that when somebody comes to your site, they know exactly, first off, they can determine, oh, okay, you're speaking to me. I don't have to scroll through pages to find whether you have something of value to me. Because you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave the site. So if I can't find, it's like a resume. How many of us have looked at a stack of resumes when we're interviewing people, and you want to have right at the top of the resume, you want to know basically what the value proposition of this person is. And you don't want to have to spend a bunch of time trying to find out if there's any applicable information to your business. Typically, if you can't find it, on to the next resume. It's the same thing with websites. And again, I can't tell you, as you say, how many websites have you been to where you go through like a couple of pages, and I was like, I have no idea what they do, I don't know who they serve, and I don't know why I should do business with them. Really, it's a beautiful site, looks good, great videos, beautiful animation, I have no idea what they do. And they probably spend a fortune on it too. And it's important, it's optimized, again, it's about the customer. Fulfill their informational needs. Okay? Any questions about that? Just a little bit of my philosophy about websites, because I've seen so many bad ones. Okay, hard to see this, but I put together the marketing budget. We talked about the empowering concept here, and the personnel, the community site, and the technology, and the marketing programs here. These are the that we talk about. Now, you don't have to pay attention to these numbers. I made up a lot of these numbers, but you will see that a large part of the budget, this is for an annual, and this is for a pilot for about 3 months. One of the things that I highly recommend is that, except for your website and for some other types of things, where I talk about the website and your CRM program, there's certain technology that you're going to have to make the investment regardless of how large your marketing initiatives are, or regardless of how large you are. You have to make that investment. So it doesn't make sense to go through a pilot. But what I would do is, on some of these initiatives, go to a pilot program, start small, and because it's easier to fix. If something's not going the way you want it to, and you're measuring and you're seeing that you're not achieving the key performance indicators that you want, you can make changes to it, and you haven't spent a lot of money. So whatever your budget is, I would highly recommend that you start with a pilot. And typically it's 3 months. But as we see here, the largest portion of the budget is personnel, which is not surprising. I mean, some of these other things that I've talked about, I've guesstimated what they would be. But there's a reason why I put these numbers together, because I want to illustrate another point. But this gives you an idea. When you get the thing, you'll get an idea of things that you need to be thinking about as you're putting together the money you're going to need to invest in this marketing activities. Or at least if you don't have the money, at least you know the things that you're going to be faced up with. So it's important to understand that.